Okay, for your independent station for today, you're again going to need a red colored pencil, a green colored pencil, and then you're going to need your notebook. In your table of contents on page 26, you're going to title it Subtracting Integers. And then once you have that written in your table of contents, you can actually turn to page 26 and we'll get started with some examples. All right, so your first example for drawing is going to be 5 minus a negative 6. So I'm starting off with 5 positives. And then it tells me to take away 6 negatives. Well, you can see I don't have any negatives to take away, therefore I'm going to have to add 0 pairs. I'm going to add 6 negatives and 6 positives so that I add an equal amount of 0 pairs. Now I have negatives to take away, so I'm going to take away my 6 negatives, and I am left with 11 positives. Therefore, 5 minus a negative 6 is 11. Example 2. Negative 6 minus a negative 3. I'm going to draw 6 negatives. And then it says to take away 3 negatives. And I have 3 negatives to take away, therefore I take them away, and I am left with 3 negatives. Therefore, negative 6 minus a negative 3 is negative 3. My last drawing example is going to be negative 5 minus 1. So I'm going to start off with 5 negatives. And then it says to take away 1 positive. Well, I don't have any positives to take away, therefore I have to add a 0 pair. So I add 1 positive and 1 negative. Now I have a positive to take away, so I take away the positive, and I'm left with 6 negatives. Therefore, my answer is negative 6. Okay, this is kind of what we did yesterday, so it should be a little bit of a review. I'm going to use some examples with your number line. So on page 25, right above these examples, you still have that number line pasted in your notebook. So you're again going to follow along with your finger, what I do with the pen on the whiteboard, and we're going to do some number line examples. So my first number line example is going to be negative 3 minus 1. So again, you start at negative 3, so put your finger at negative 3, and then you're going to go down 1. So you land at negative 4. So your answer would be negative 4. My next example for your number line is going to be 6 minus a negative 2. This is typically how you'll see it in the book. So I'm going to start at 6. So put your finger at 6. And then it says to go down a negative 2. Well, going down a negative is the same thing as going up. So I'm going to go up 2. And I land at 8. One thing that I've taught classes in the past is that when you have minus a negative, 2 negatives are going to make a positive, and when you're positive, you're happy, so you can make a smiley face. So when 2 negatives are right next to each other, you can use that smiley face method. Therefore, this would really say 6 plus 2, which is exactly what you did. You started at 6 and you went up 2 to get 8. And then the last example that I have for you for your number line is -1 minus a -3. Okay, so again, you can use that smiley face trick that I just taught you. You have two negatives that are right next to each other, so two negatives make a positive, and when you're positive, you smile. Therefore, this reads -1 plus 3, because subtracting a negative is the same thing as adding. So I'm going to start at -1, and then I'm going to go up 3, and you land at 2. Therefore, 2 is your answer. Okay, subtracting integers is probably a little more challenging than adding integers, but the more practice you get, the better you will become and kind of develop rules on your own. So thanks for watching.